And welcome back. Now we are going to be able to sit down with Foster Campbell. I sat down with Foster Campbell earlier last week and was able to really talk with him and find out why he's running for governor, but also what his plans are and how they differ from the plans of the other declared candidates. Right now, as of recording time, things have been changing quite quickly, but right now he is the only Democrat that's in the race, and he's facing 3 Republicans. It's going to be quite an interesting race. The election will take place in October, so now it's time for them to start ramping up. So I started off first by asking Foster to tell us a little bit about himself so that we can familiarize ourselves with him. This is what he had to say.
Well, I am Foster Campbell. I got elected to the Senate when I was 28 years old. One of the youngest guys ever elected, I think, until Cleo Fields came. Maybe I was maybe the youngest, but I served the Senate for 27 years. Then I ran for the Public Service Commission, where I've been a member for the last 4 years. The Public Service Commission district that I represent is the largest geographical district in the state. It's basically from Alexandria to Arkansas, from the Texas border to the Mississippi border. So it's about 24 parishes, about 900,000 people. It's a third of the state. When I was in the Senate, I was real active in lots of issues, consumer issues, education issues. I'm the guy that made kids make better grades to play ball in Louisiana. Very controversial, good thing to do. I was a teacher before I got in the Senate, and I realized at that time that kids were playing football, basketball, baseball, or whatever, running track, with making 3 Ds and 2 Fs, which is an F average. Unbelievable. When I approached the authorities about it, coaches, etc., they were very upset. But I told them, listen, as long as it's a law that's fair to Byrd High School, Broadmoor High School, LaGrange High School, what's the difference? I mean,
right.
If everybody plays by the same rules, that's what you guys are for. So what happened? We passed it. Education picked up. Grades are better. Didn't cost 1 red cent. That's the things we can do in Louisiana sometimes when you have the courage to step out. We need good athletes. I'm all for that, but I'm for good education.
Right.
Very seldom does a youngster make the pro ranks. Very, very seldom. The chances are 1 in 10,000.
Yeah.
But it's 999 out of 10,000 that they're going to go to work.
Yeah.
And we want them to be educated. One of our problems in Louisiana is attracting good industry is an educated workforce. We want
Absolutely.
a better educated workforce. So the stricter our requirements can be, more education oriented is better. And we also realize that we need strong vocational training. There's lots of people that might not want to go to college
right.
for whatever reason. But there's all kinds of skills that we can learn at trade schools.
Absolutely.
Welding, mechanical skills, truck driving skills, a host of things. And they make very good livings, and we need to upgrade our trade schools in Louisiana to make sure that everybody finds a place that they want to be.
Absolutely.
They might want to teach school, they want to practice law, might want to sell insurance, they might want to be a diesel mechanic. By the way, some of those guys make $75,000, $85,000, $90,000 a year. Be a nurse. So there's lots of opportunities in Louisiana, and we just have to prepare our people to meet the opportunities. Well, I stayed in the Senate. I was chairman of agriculture for 12 years. And I passed some bills in the legislature that I'm very proud of. One of them that's very popular, I passed the Do Not Call bill with Kay Isles over in DeRidder, Louisiana, which is a great bill. People can't call you at home at night. That's one of the most popular things we've done. Again, it didn't cost the people of Louisiana
right.
anything. Also passed a bill that I'm proud of that we took $1 billion out of the tobacco settlement, created the Educational Excellence Fund. We saved $1 billion. It's in our Constitution. It can't be spent. Where we spend the interest in the classroom every year. Every parish gets money for the classroom opportunities. That's what we need to be doing, is spending money in the classroom. I'm for opening schools up in the summertime for kids who are not doing well in the first 3 grades. I think the best thing we can do, we have air-conditioned schools now. If we have youngsters in the 1st, 2nd, 3rd grade, maybe even the 4th, that are falling behind before they fall through the cracks, we need special tutorial programs.
And that's the time to step in.
That's the time to step in, because before they get in a rut.
Yeah.
And they can't catch up.
Learn too many bad habits.
Or whatever. Yeah. And so I'm for doing that. I think it will pay dividends. I know how to pay for it, and this is the best money we can spend.
Absolutely.
These kids every child likes to make good grades. Whatever reason they don't,
right?
And then they get in trouble, and then we've got a problem with the police,
right,
or some kind of correction. Absolutely. And if you have a child in the second grade who's not reading correctly, rather than him going on to the third grade, or get him right then and tell the parents, look, we have the Opelousas schools
right.
open, we have the Bossier City schools open. We'll come pick up your child.
Yeah.
You're working. We'll come pick him up. We'll bring him home. But we want to remediate something
right.
before he gets lost. And I think it'll pay great dividends. It's the right thing to do, and we'll have the money to do it. Keep the air conditioner on in the summertime. It's 100 degrees outside.
Yeah.
They're there. They have PE programs
yeah.
and things like that. So it just makes sure that we go this extra mile trying to rehabilitate children who maybe are a little bit behind for whatever reason.
Yeah.
And it's money well spent.
Absolutely.
If we don't, these children get in trouble.
Yeah.
A lot of them. And then we deal with it at a different level. And it's a lot more expensive than keeping the schools open.
Boy, isn't that the truth?
And that's what we ought to be doing in Louisiana.
That's very true. Well, why don't we definitely talk about your plan? I was interested to find out before we sat down today. I went to look at the other declared candidates to see what their plan was. Yeah, turns out their plan's coming soon,
right.
Which I always find is incredibly interesting. Why they would tell us it was coming soon.
I don't see anybody else running that has a plan.
No.
And people, that have criticized my plan, well, my answer to that is, what's yours?
Yeah.
You don't like mine, what's your plan?
Right.
Our plan is real simple. We want to reform the tax system in Louisiana, the way we tax oil and gas in our state. Today, if there's a well drilled in any of the 64 parishes, they pay a tax. It's been that way since 1921. And it's called a severance tax. In other words, if you drill a well in Bienville Parish, Lafayette Parish, Terrebonne Parish, you make an oil well, you pay to the state of Louisiana 12.5% times the price of the barrel of oil. So it's a lots of money going to the state, which we use. It's called severance taxes. But now here's the problem. In 1921, 95% of all the oil and gas that we processed in the state was Louisiana oil.
Right.
Today, 95% is foreign and 5% is Louisiana oil, and we don't tax the foreign oil. So you can't have an antiquated tax system in a civilized society or something like Louisiana that's trying to grow and do the right things. So what I propose is charging everybody the same. We want to charge 6% tax on the people who drill oil wells in Lafayette Parish or Calcasieu Parish or Terrebonne Parish or Bienville Parish or Webster Parish or Red River Parish. Wherever you find oil, it's going to cost 6%. But we're going to ask some more people to pay that haven't ever paid. People like Mr. Chavez, who sends in all this oil from Venezuela. And he sends it to Lake Charles, to the refinery there that he owns.
Right.
He pays nothing there. The Prince of Saudi Arabia sends all the oil here. He pays nothing. Iraq, they pay nothing. And by the way, Saddam Hussein, before he was taken down, 1 year sent 7 or 8 million barrels of oil to Louisiana without a tax. So what you have here, foreign countries like these companies, Kuwait countries, the Royal Dutch Shell that's from the Netherlands, British Petroleum, we have them bringing this oil in here, which is fine, but they don't pay any tax. But a man in Lafayette Parish who has a well on his place, he pays a tax. So we want everybody to pay the same, 6%. It helps the Louisiana producer because you cut his taxes in half, and we pick up this money from the international producers or the foreign countries. At 6%, we raise $5.5 billion a year, which is a phenomenal amount of money. And what we do with that, we're not going to spend it. We're going to take the 5.5 and we're going to send $3.5 billion back to the Louisiana taxpayers. We're getting rid of all the personal income tax, all the corporate income tax, and the severance tax.
Right.
So there won't be any more severance tax, there won't be any more income tax, corporate or personal.
So wait a second. This is big. Okay, this is big. The folks need to realize what you just said. Okay,
I'm getting rid of the income tax in the state of Louisiana and the corporate income tax.
and considering that, when this show airs, we're only going to be 3 weeks out from when we have to file for our deadline for our state income taxes. So you're telling me that with your plan,
no more state income tax.
That would go away.
That's right. And a lot of people are filing today because a lot of people pay their state income tax on the day they
pay the federal.
And that's
right.
So, we're joining the other states. And the Wall Street Journal last week had an article, or a week before last, that talked about the rich states and the poor state. I want to be a rich state.
Yeah.
I'm tired of being a poor state. 9 rich states in America have one thing in common: no income tax.
Yeah.
Texas, no income tax. Florida, no income tax. Tennessee, no income tax. Nevada, no income tax. Wyoming, no income tax. Washington, no income tax.
Yeah.
So why don't we join that? We can do this simply by having the courage to ask the foreign countries who are doing business in the state of Louisiana to pay their fair share. Now, we have scientific proof that we have all the coastal erosion in our state. No problem. And scientists agree up to 60% of this was caused by oil and gas activity going in our marsh.
Wow.
Our marsh,
Sure.
cutting 20,000 miles of canals in our marsh. The water comes in, it comes out, it erodes our marsh. So why shouldn't we ask the people who caused some of the coastal erosion to pay for it?
Right.
And they can easily afford it. And the reason is that we hadn't had any politicians that wanted to ask them to do it because they were really too cozy with them.
Right.
And so I want to be cozy with the people, not cozy with the oil companies.
Absolutely.
We're now in a situation where within 10 years, if we don't do something about coastal erosion, Times-Picayune reported in their special edition that water will be lapping at the levees in suburban New Orleans. It's no scare tactics, it's factual fact.
Sure is.
And so isn't it about time that the politicians ask the oil companies who caused this to pay up?
To ante up.
Fix our state. You wouldn't put up with that on your own property 2 minutes. And so why has the politicians in Louisiana put up with it from the oil companies?
Right.
And they've just been a little too cozy. And I don't know, maybe we didn't realize coastal erosion was that bad. Maybe after Katrina we do. Whatever the reason, it's no sense in going back. But we've got to go forward. This is a forward-thinking plan that puts us among the most progressive states in the South rather than behind Mississippi and Arkansas, which is a dreadful place to be.
Right.
How in the world could this great state be behind Mississippi?
Right.
Or Arkansas? We've had all the natural resources. We've squandered them.
Yeah.
And now we're at the bottom of the bottom.
Right.
And here we are trying to do something different. Now, my other opponents, they talk about this and that. Nobody has a plan. And we've been going through that. We've elected this guy for a while and this guy for a while. No plans. And what happens is we're at the bottom.
Yeah.
So if you do the same thing over and over and over, and you expect different results, you're sort of foolish.
Yeah.
Now, this is
Definition of insanity, actually. Albert Einstein. Yeah, absolutely.
So what we're going to say is that we're sick of being last. We want to be ahead of all the states in the South. We should be. We have the great Mississippi River here.
Right.
Can you imagine that? It's the interstate
Absolutely.
of the world. All the great ports, all the great fertile land,
Right.
all the oil and gas we have, all the timberlands we have, cotton land that makes 3 bales of cotton, and we're behind Mississippi.
Yeah.
It's insane. And the reason is that we have just squandered our natural resources, and we have too much special interest at our capital and not at people's interest. We're one of the few states, first of all, let's just look at the facts.
Right.
We're one of the few states that let them drill off our coast.
Yep.
Okay. Now, and here's another distinguished fact. Of all the waters around America, Atlantic Ocean, Pacific Ocean, the Gulf of Mexico, 90% of all the oil that's ever been discovered is off the coast of Louisiana. So do you actually think they're going to leave the oil
Right.
and say, we're just not going to go up through Louisiana anymore?
Because of this relatively small processing tax.
Absolutely. They're going to pass this tax on. And the great thing about that, people all across America will be paying the tax
Right.
rather than putting it all on the people of Louisiana. We have 40,000 miles of pipeline. We're the delivery system for America.
You know,
They can't rip the pipelines up. They can't move the Mississippi River. Our refineries are running at 95% capacity. Texas is running at 95% capacity. All we need is some politicians that will put the people's interest over the special interest. And the great thing about this proposal, the people get to vote on it.
Oh, yeah.
Because it's in our Constitution. So this is a constitutional amendment. But the oil companies, the big foreign oil companies will tell you, oh, well, we don't want to let that happen because it's so sophisticated, people won't understand it. The truth is, they know, and I know, that if this makes it to the ballot box, 70 to 75% of the people will vote for it very quickly because it makes too much sense. And we're in a desperate situation. We want to get out of being last. It's the fair thing to do. And let's get these income tax off, and let's see if our economy won't grow. Now, you know it costs more to inspect a car in Baton Rouge than it does in Shreveport.
I didn't realize that.
Well, the reason is because the air is worse in Baton Rouge. And the reason it's worse is because of the petrochemical companies.
Sure.
And so shouldn't we be compensated for a little of that? I mean, is it outrageous to say that, oh, no, we don't want to do this? By the way, Exxon refines 99% foreign oil in Baton Rouge, 1% Louisiana oil, and we tax them 1%.
Absolutely.
And by the way, Exxon, they're not going to leave. We don't want them to leave. They've got this huge refinery. If they left, they'd have to clean it up. So it's just time for somebody that has some backbone to leave Louisiana, to say the good old days are over with. We're not going to be walked on. We're going to be a partner with you, and we're going to be an equal partner with you. You're going to pay for the land that you tear up.
Right.
You're going to clean up the air for everybody to breathe. And we don't want to break you, but you don't pay anything now. And this has been going on since 1921. It's 2007. And when you're making $12,500 a second, you can well afford...
In profit. Alone.
Right. You can well afford to pay Louisiana what you owe.
Absolutely.
And we're going to take that money, rather than spend it, we're going to give it back to the people, $3.5 billion, in forms of tax relief. And when we get tax relief, people will spend it, and then it will stimulate an economic boom. And we will have a diversified economy rather than one that's just we've got our hat in the hand and our only answer is to go to Washington and beg for money.
Absolutely. So what can people do right now? What are some immediate needs that your campaign has? If people want to get some more information, you have a website, correct?
FosterCampbell.com.
That's pretty easy to remember. We're going to have that lugged on here on the screen right now. On the website, I'm sure that there's ways for them to find out more about your plan.
Right, and send some money, but if they want it, we need all your prayers, because
absolutely
lots of this is not going to be easy, because the big oil companies are going to really be after my candidacy, because they're threatened.
Yeah.
And if we pass this in Louisiana, Texas will pass it.
Oh yeah.
Second, because they're in the same situation. And we need to do something, because we deliver all the energy for North America.
Yeah.
And it's not free.
No.
We have lots of damage. And the people of New Orleans really need to think about this. Their storm was so much worse because of no Barrier Islands to like the
absolutely.
They kept the Gulf out in the Gulf, but it didn't when you lose the Barrier
Nothing
Islands.
To slow it down.
Nothing to slow it down. And we've paid dearly for that. So
we sure have.
Do we just keep on doing that, or do we get our head out of the mud and say, hey, we've had enough. This is what it's going to take to do business in Louisiana. You're going to pay a fee for using our coast and our water, but we're going to make it fair. Now, everybody in Bienville Parish and everybody in Plaquemine Parish and everybody in Lafayette and Terrebonne, we're all going to pay just like you. We're going to pay 6.
Yeah.
And you're going to pay 6. You never paid anything. We've been paying 12.5.
Yeah.
That kind of thinking is gone forever in Louisiana. You want to do business in our state? Don't bring us all the dirty jobs. We want some clean jobs.
Absolutely.
And we want some white-collar jobs. We want some retirees to move here. There's lots of retirees who would move back to Louisiana, but they won't because of the income tax.
Absolutely.
A lot of people would like to move back to Lafayette or Minden or Natchitoches.
Yep.
Or Baton Rouge. They've been raised there. They'd love to come home to Shreveport. But the problem is we've got this huge income tax situation. Yep. These people are retired. They're not going to come back and pay $10,000, $11,000 a year to stay in Louisiana. Just not going to do it.
You're absolutely right. So folks can log on over onto your website. They can probably get involved in your campaign and sign up for your newsletters and contact. And that's great.
Give some money, we need it.
I was just going to say, I wanted to close on that. When you're running for the people here, You are literally running to support the average worker. I mean, every single person who earns a living here in the state of Louisiana is going to get a pay raise.
Right.
Very short and simple, is going to get a pay raise.
Right.
And, I'm a big advocate of seeing the campaign models with the new internet technology. A lot can be done. I'm speaking directly to the viewers right now. A lot can be done by candidates, even if you just go on and say, you know what, instead of tomorrow going into Starbucks and buying my cup of coffee, matter of fact, for the whole week, I'm not going to go to Starbucks or I'm not going to go to Mellow Joy, and instead of, I'm going to take that $25 and I'm going to donate it to a candidate that I believe in that's going to give me a raise. That's a big investment, because when you talk about 1,000 people donating that $25,
A lot of money.
well, that also goes to counter the big oil companies that are going to be writing the big checks to the opposition.
You have to realize that they're going to be saying everything about me that they can say liberal, this, and that. The truth is, I voted for fewer taxes than Jay Darden, who's a Republican Secretary of State. I voted for very few taxes. I haven't always done that, but I am for rearranging this tax policy. So if you want to know look at my website. If you want to call me, my phone number's there. I'd be glad to do it. Anybody has any functions down here in Lafayette or Abbeville or wherever, New Iberia, if there's going to be a festival or a parade or anything like that, I'd love to come. Just call me and let me see if we can't get it
Great.
here, where I can come down here and shake hands and see people. We need people's help.
Absolutely.
This is going to sort of be a campaign of people.
A grassroots.
Versus multinational companies that have lots of money to spend.
Absolutely.
You can't match them dollar for dollar, but if the people realize what we're doing, who wouldn't like to get your income tax off?
Absolutely.
And who can pay it better? The Royal Dutch Shell, or the people who live in Lafayette, or the people who live in Minden? Like I say, Exxon's made $40 billion last year. And by the way, I don't know if you know this, if you're buying gasoline now, it's already at $3 a gallon.
Yep.
It's going to be over $3 this summer. A lot of people won't be able to take vacations. They'll be going to state parks or staying at home.
Yeah.
And these companies are not taking, they're not doing anything special for Louisiana. They do create jobs, but, they're making record profits. They got to have the people to work, but there's got to be more of a cooperative spirit between the oil companies and the people. That, hey, we love Louisiana. The oil companies ought to say that. You've been good to us in the past. We know the problems with Katrina. We know the problems of terrible highways. We know the problems of coastal erosion. Let's get together and compromise. But there's no compromise. They don't want to pay anything. And the reason they don't think they have to, because they have the legislature by the neck. And as governor, that's the first. There won't be any inaugural parties. When I get sworn in at 12 o'clock, at 12:10, I'm calling the legislature in session. And we're going to drop one bill in the hopper, this oil and gas reform. And I think they'll have to be 10 days before they can come back. And we'll have a party after we pass it. But I don't need a party. I don't need anybody patting me on the back. I've been in the legislature long enough to know what to do. And we're going to stop all this special interest over at the Capitol. We're going to put the people's interest first.
That's great.
That'd be an all-time first, too, by the way.
Absolutely. Well, we can't thank you enough. I'm sure you're not going to be a stranger here. We'll be more than glad to help you out in any way we can. We want to encourage the viewers tonight to click on over to Foster's website at fostercampbell.com. You can also check us out here locally at LafayetteDemocrats.com. We're going to be constantly updating you on Foster's schedule so that you'll have links and find out when he's going to be in the area so that you can make a difference. It's going to take everyone watching the show to have their voice heard and to step up. Any parting thoughts?
No, it's a beautiful day here today, and we've got a great state with great history, great people. Let's make it greater. Let's take pride back in Louisiana, take our state back from the special interest, and let's fix the roads, fix our roads, educate our children, and hopefully we'll keep more people at home here. That's what we want to do. We want to educate the children here, and once they get the education, we want to
keep them here. Absolutely.
And you're not going to do it with a state that's not interested, and in the environment, not interested, in the roads, not interested in the coast.
Education.
We've just got to have a house cleaning to say we're putting Louisiana first. We want everybody to come here, and we're going to work with you, but we're not going to give it away to you.
Absolutely. Well, folks, I don't know about you, but I'm really tired of being 50th in the nation and on about every one of the bad lists. It's time for us to step up. So make a difference. Log on to the website. With that, we'll be right back.
And thank you so much, Foster Campbell, Public Service Commissioner, who is running for governor. We greatly appreciate your time. We'd also like to encourage all of our listeners and viewers to log on to Foster Campbell's website at fostercampbell.com. Pretty easy to remember. There's a lot of great information on that website, and there you'll be able to ask questions, you'll be able to get information, you'll also be able to sign up to volunteer for his campaign, and also, if you have the inclination, drop him some cheddar, as they would say these days. It would be a great help. After all, he is there to fight for the people, and it's the people who should be supporting him. After all, industry is not going to be doing it that much. But that's all we have time for. Time quickly flies. Next week, we're going to be back with our normal format. We are going to be opening up with an extended news and commentary section next week because it has been just a few weeks since we brought you our normal news and commentary. So we hope you'll look forward to that. Actually set a note and put a note on your calendar to make sure that you tune in for that because you won't want to miss it. But with that, that is all the time we have time for. We would like to encourage you to stop by the LafayetteDemocrats.org site. There you'll be able to see a lot of great information and be able to plug in with other local progressives throughout our community. We'd also like to remind you that tomorrow morning, Tuesday, on theadvertiser.com, there you'll be able to see my weekly column that I have each and every week. Who knows what I'm going to be talking about this week? Last week it was Words Matter, and with all of the problems that we've been having with IMUS and with the other talking heads, I thought that that was appropriate. So definitely check that out. I greatly appreciate it. Drop me a comment. Let me know what you think about it. But as I said, that's all the time we have. So enjoy your week, take care of each other, and thanks a lot for joining us. We greatly appreciate it. We'll see you next Monday at 9 o'clock. Good night.
Respect. One of the simplest ways of showing it is by simply returning a person's phone call. At the Glenn Armentor Law Corporation, we not only return every call, we also take whatever time is necessary to make sure you completely understand your personal injury case and what it will take to win it. The Glenn Armentor Law Corporation, where a fair settlement is no accident.